Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Weekend Warriors. And Weekend Warriors is an episode where I talk about the two top offensive and defensive players that made the biggest difference for me or the biggest plays for me during this past weekend league. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about is what I seen, how they played, what stood out, and the abilities that we use on these players. Now, I don't particularly have a bias. This isn't about my favorite card. This is about who stood out throughout multiple games. Now, we didn't have the best weekend league. We started off decent, right? I think we started off 9-2, and I didn't get to play I didn't get to play Saturday until Sunday night. But then Sunday night, I'm not gonna lie to you, we had some rough games. I think we didn't even finish. We probably ended up somewhere in the neighborhood of 13-6. Something like that. But let's dive into this. This first card is an interesting pick because this card isn't even expensive. This is a $60,000 card, but this card with the right ability makes all the difference in the world. So the first card that I want to talk to you about is a 90 overall card, and this is Brandon Aiyuk. This card played amazing for me. Now, he's a little bit boosted in his stats because of the Niners theme team, and we do have 40 sprinter on him. But I think what makes the biggest difference on this card, playing this card by itself may not play to the best of its ability, but with the right abilities, this card did damage. So we added Route Tech on him. Now, I want to show you his stats. So on our team, he has 96 speed, 96 jumping, which I really do think jumping is a stat this year. 91 catching, but I want you to look at like his route running. His route running isn't amazing, right? 91 short is great, but 88 medium and 85 fall short of the route running thresholds. But when you add Route Tech on him, this is a different card. One of the things that really stood out to me too on this card is his 91 agility. So his agility played very, very well. And even his change of direction, believe it or not, like his spin seems fluid. Like it's not the best spin, but he does spin fairly well. But this card played amazing. It got to the point where I went for it a lot on fourth down this past weekend league. And when I needed to get him the ball, he made some of the biggest plays. Now, you could argue that instead of putting Route Tech on him, maybe you could put Slot-O-Matic. Slot-O-Matic has better cuts and catching on short and slot routes. I can tell you that this works, right? It lights up specifically not only for route running, but with catching. The only problem with this is I run a lot of different formations, and sometimes the formations that that he comes out in is not in the slot, so I got to make a bunch of substitutes. So I simply went with Route Tech because of Hot Route Master. I'm able to just put whatever route that I want on him, no matter where he lines up. But the quicker cuts while running routes, listen, with the meta being man-to-man, this card cooked Deion Sanders. I'd seen him cook Night Train Lane, DRC, Antonio Cromartie. He even went against Shaquille Griffin and got open on all of them. So listen, this is a card that I highly suggest if you have a budget team. He plays absolutely great, but you have to put Route Tech on him or Slot-O-Matic. So that's the first card. Now the second card is on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? So one is pretty cheap at $60K, but the next player that made the biggest difference on my team is Tyreek Hill. Now, yes, he's the best wide receiver in the game, but he is also the most expensive wide receiver in the game. Now, this card, what we do have on him is deep in elite because we run a lot of skinny deep posts, and I have some beaters that I like to play and put them on when I'm running against man-to-man. But listen, this card is pretty amazing. 97 speed, 95 catching. He hits all the route running thresholds. He's actually on the upper tier, right? 97, 96, 95. His agility is 91, and his change of direction 92. Now with Tyreek Hill, I put him on deep routes, drag routes, mid in out routes, all the routes, right? But he played extremely well. He burns everybody, man. If he gains a step and you lob that ball up, he's coming down with it. And what surprised me was how he caught a lot of passes in traffic. Normally with smaller receivers, they don't do that. So at least for me, that's what he did. Now let me tell you this though. As much as I'm hyping this card up, I don't think he's an absolute need. Like for his price tag, like not everyone has millions of coins, right? So you don't necessarily need him on your team. As much as I like him, I will say this. I think you can get away with Scary Terry. I think you can get away with Marquise Brown. Both of those receivers hit 96 speed. And what you're really wanting to look for is what their like release is, right? That's going to make the bigger difference on some of those cards. But as much as I like this card, I don't think he's an absolute must, and I don't think you actually have to have him. If I were you and you're thinking of buying him right now or this week, I would probably wait till Series 4 because he's going to get a redux and his price is going to come crashing down. And by then, you never know. We might have Randy Moss or we might have some receiver that comes out with blazing speed as well. So this card is a beast, but I'm just throwing it out there. You don't necessarily need it for his price tag. So we're going to jump over to the defensive side of the ball. And the first player that I want to talk to you about is this DRC. Now, I love this card. I think, this is just what I think. I think that there's a case that could be made that he's probably the first, second, or third best corner in the game. First off, he is a big corner, right? So he's not little. I want to say he's 6'2". He has 90, I want to say he's a 92 stock speed. So when you power him up 93 on our team, he has a 95 speed. But look at this. His press is 96, zone 95, his man is 97, play rec 93. I mean, this card is an absolute beast. He made play. I played him everywhere. I played him in the slot. I played him on the outside. Never once did he get torched. Never once did he now he got beat. Yes, this is Madden, right? There's going to be those plays. But even against some of the big physical receivers, I feel like you need a big physical receiver. Like when you're going against the Metcalfs, when you're going against Megatron, you're going to need big physical receivers. This card was jumping routes. Like if he was in the slot, he would jump the route over to the outside. He would jump in the middle of the field, but he had so many interceptions for me. Now we do have Acrobat on him. I do think that played a role in it. And what happens is he technically plays my cornerback 2, right? So I have him in the slot because I have Carlos Rogers at our front page for chemistry purposes. But when the game starts, he goes to number 2. And multiple times I forgot that's why he was playing in the slot. But this card made all kinds of plays. I can't wait till he gets his upgrade. But I think if you don't have DRC, he's fairly cheap right now. One of the best corners in the game. Now, I'm going to talk to you about one other player, and then I want to talk to you about what I'm thinking about doing with my team, right? Because I like these cards so much, specifically on defense. And the second player is this Night Train Lane. Now, I waited to make his set, right? I waited till Blitz, till the prices fell. And even then, I almost didn't want to make it because I was afraid of his speed, right? 94 speed. Every year, Night Train comes out, big physical corner, 6'1". But I didn't play him at corner. I played him at strong safety. This card is a beast of a card. Listen to me. He made some great plays all over the field. He had multiple diving interceptions. He had crazy spec catch type interceptions. But this card, I highly recommend if you're trying to build a budget team. This is not bad because you can make his set and get 4 fairly good players to add to your squad, even if it's for depth or if you want a quick sell for training and get some coins back. But this card played out of his mind. Now, I like this card in DRC so much that I'm highly thinking of going 25 Niners and 25 Cardinals. If we went 25 Cardinals, that would make this card even more relevant, and he would go up to a 95 speed, okay? And then DRC would go to a 96 speed. then in my mind, DRC would be just like Shaquille Griffin, because Shaquille Griffin gets 96 speed. I even want to show you, I already kind of started playing with it, right? From a coin perspective, what it's going to cost me. So currently, we're playing with it right now, but I'm waiting for prices to drop. I only have 8 Cardinals, but what that would do, it would make Patrick Peterson even more relevant, right? Patrick Peterson, if we got to 25 Cardinals, would go up 1 speed. So he would be what? He would be a 93 speed stock. And then with Sprinter, he'd be a 95 speed. And then you can get people like Antrel Roll. You can have Adrian Wilson back here. You know he's going to get a card, right? He's going to be more relevant. So there's a lot that we can do. The other thing that we can do is we can go get Antonio Cromartie, right? So if we switch what this would look like, DRC would play at 1. Antonio Cromartie would play at 2. I would probably keep Deion Sanders at number 3, and I would continue to play Night Train Lane at safety. And then what we would do is we would have Patrick Peterson come in for the dime sets or when we need an extra DB. But this is what I'm thinking. So I like these cards so much. And you know me, if you follow me, you know that I've had a 59ers theme team. And the only thing that I'm hesitant on is if they come out with like a Randy Moss, if they come out with another Rod Woodson, which I don't see them doing right away. That's probably going to be down the road, maybe after Christmas. But don't be surprised if next week when I go over the team update, you see a 25 Niners and 25 Cardinals theme team. But these are the 4 cards that really stood out. I highly suggest if you don't have Ayuk and you have a budget team, listen, consider that card even without the Niners chem. Right, I want to say he's 92 speed stock with Sprinter. You can get him to 94. Put Route Tech on him for fairly cheap. I would also say DRC is cheap right now, and Night Train Lane. So these were the 4 players that really stood out for me. Please drop a comment. Let me know who your top 4 players were this past week. Let me know what videos you want to see. Like and subscribe. And then also, I'm going to be putting out some other videos showing you how we've made coins. You see, we're up to 6.3 million. And there's some things we've been doing that I think could help some of you out. So until next time, this is E2 Times. Peace. We're out.